Greetings and welcome to the United Hotspot. It's another day. We are back to talk Manchester United now. Today is interesting because there is a lot of news to look at our beloved club. I'm glad to be here to give it to you as we do dissect it together. My name is Webb, and if you're joining us for the first time, amazing stuff you're doing. We're here every single day at exactly this time at the top of the hour. Well, I came just 1 minute late, but don't you worry. It's all always for the right reasons to be sure that we get every story concerning Manchester United as it comes. Now, today, there is a lot, the latest concerning a player who was the most important from last season, Marcus Rashford, our top scorer with 30 goals from last season, is on sale as it looks because PSG have shown interest in him, and reports are suggesting that they are putting together an offer, a mega offer of about 88 million euros. That's close to 75 million pounds. Now, question is, should Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford? That's the first question I'm putting to you. In your view, should we sell him? And if so, how much is he worth? I'll be giving you my opinion on that in a bit. But there are also lots of more stories concerning what Sir Jim Ratcliffe are doing with the club. We've got more concerning John Mata and Matt Hargreaves, who are on a move. They are vending players. Man United is vending players. We'll talk about that in detail. Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb again. Good evening, everyone. I hope all is well. I do hope all is well with you. Namtebi Rita as well. Well, I know it's been a day full of so much, and if I look at my rundown today, the things I want to talk about, guys, it's lots of them. I hope I don't forget anything here because there is a lot for us to talk about. But for me, the one thing I like of everything happening around Man United now is the fact that things are happening. We clearly see things are happening. We are not exactly in a state of oblivion. We know that things are being done by Ineos and Co. And that's exactly what we have wanted for the longest time. Now, how they go will be a debate for another time, but at least something is being done. You cannot go anywhere if you don't make the first step. And it's even not just one step made so far, many steps have been made. Now, people have been asking me what John Mata is still doing because I told you recently how he was meeting Deco and these Barcelona chiefs. But John Mata is apparently going to start Man United, even if Omar Berada is about to come. Remember, Omar Berada is yet to officially come. He will be expected in the summer. But John Mata is going to be there in a different role to try and support him. So what is happening, and I love to see it, I've been saying it from the last summer, that Manchester United has got to be vending players. Now, it seems that is exactly what is happening. Man United is vending players. Now, the report that has just come through today suggests that after meeting Barcelona chiefs, probably to discuss Mason Greenwood, John Mata and Matt Hargreaves, who is the director of negotiations at Man United, are now going to meet Real Madrid chiefs. Again, I told you before here that Real Madrid and Barcelona are together with Atletico Madrid. Probably after that, it will be Atletico they meet. Have shown serious interest in signing Mason Greenwood. Now, probably these are the conversations they're having. But what we know, Intel has it that John Mata and Richard Arnold will be meeting Real Madrid chiefs next after whatever discussions they had with Barca chiefs. They seem to be on a serious, deliberate vending spree, and they do want to sell players in Spain. Which players those are, we can find out in just a bit. But let's talk about who we do want out. Now, I'm one of those who has said it for a long time that the first player we need to offload in the summer is Marcus Rashford. And I love to see it that PSG are clearly looking at him as a top option to come in and replace Kylian Mbappe. Now, the reports that we do get from a guy, Mark Donnell, who is a credible Man United journalist in the UK, he's saying that PSG are putting together 75 million pounds to go and bid for Marcus Rashford. Now, I've seen people saying that even if it's 50 million, we can take it. And I want to pick your mind because I've posted a poll. If you haven't seen it, it's right there. You can respond to the poll there and let me know what you think. How much, first of all, should we sell Marcus Rashford? Because we are talking about one of our, if not our our highest paid player, a player. So, meaning he has got a long contract with us, huge juicy one. Now we are saying, can we sell him in the summer? PSG want him. 75 million is what reports suggest is what they are willing to put on the table. Is he a player we can let go of? He has scored a few goals, I think about 6 for United so far this season in the Premier League, assisted a few times, but he's not anywhere close to the levels he was at And with the arrival of Rasmus Højlund, do we still expect a lot from Marcus Rashford? Because by nature of his style, Rashford wants to be on the score sheet. He wants to be scoring goals. But we are saying we've got Rasmus Højlund, who should be a target man, and Rashford's job as a winger should be mostly to assist him. Is he going to be able to do that? So probably the arrival of Rasmus Højlund makes it obvious that Rashford might want to seek opportunities elsewhere. But it's not even just that. For me, the body language, the facial expressions, everything that the way he carries himself lately at United has pointed to one thing, that he wants out of Man United. So for me, my honest opinion is that Marcus Rashford should be sold. Now we can get into the price tag. Rita, how are you doing? Well, Rita, that's a message for you from Alfred Sendwe. Good to have you on, Alfred. It's a busy day today. I'm going to be, I think, so fast it's going to be a marathon because there's a lot to talk about, honestly, and we've got to exhaust all of it in under an hour. So here's the thing. So Rashford, in my view, should be sold. That is one. And if you look at the situation we are in a sell to buy situation. We've got to have that one player who is going to bring us most of the money we want to get, and then have the others come and add on. So for me, is that one player who can bring us reasonable money? It's Rashford. And already if PSG are contemplating putting together 75 million for him, that's already a good base. It shows you that if we are good negotiators, we should know our partner. And for me, I've been saying it that our partner should be at least 80 million. A partner is the best alternative to a negotiable agreement. Now, when you're going into a negotiation, even you back there, if you're going to sell your phone, your used phone, or you're going to sell your car or any asset, a house, whatever, you must have what they call a partner. That's a basic in negotiation. A partner is the best alternative to a negotiable agreement. You know that if I get this amount, that's the best for me. If I get, for example, if you have if you want to sell your phone, where's my phone? So if you want to sell your phone, like I wanted to sell this phone at some point, it's an old iPhone, really. And I don't think it even gets updates lately. But anyway, if you want to sell this phone, you will know that my partner is $10. That's my partner. So how do I get someone to give me $10? I won't go in the market and tell them give me $10 for my phone, because they will then negotiate and cut you down. So you go slightly higher than your partner. So you price your phone. If you want $10, you can price it at 15. But knowing you're going to go into a negotiation, or you can price it at 14. Knowing you're going to go into a negotiation, lower it and get close to 10, 11. That's already ahead past your partner. That's how you go into a negotiation. Now, for Marcus Rashford, we need to put in place a partner. And for me, my partner initially would be 80 million. But if PSG are willing, having their initial offer of 75 million, then we can raise the partner to 90. Because meaning if their initial offer is 75, they can pay 90 or 100. So raise the partner to 90, then first ask for 120. Then they talk you down, negotiate you down, settle for 90 or 85 and more in add-ons, because there is that in contracts lately. And then an extra 10 or 15 to make it 100 in add-ons. That will be proper business for Man United. So regardless, for me, it's going to be a very good summer transfer window for Manchester United, because if Rashford is already attracting that money from Paris Saint-Germain, it shows you that we have something, a base to start on, to sell, and hope that we can now sell the Casemiros, sell the likes of Harry Maguire, or probably Scott McTominay if we have to. All these other players who can bring in a 35, a 40, and on top of the 80 million we can get from Rashford, we should be able to collect a significant chunk that is able to help us beat the financial fair play man and be able to buy players, because that's the situation we are in. But the work being done by John Matt and Matt Hargreaves now is good, because now that is exactly what they had failed to do back then in the summer. That's exactly what they needed. They needed to be on flights to Saudi Arabia to try and sell some of these players to Saudi clubs. But they were just there seated, and it had to take Omar Berrad and Ineos to come in and wake them up. Tell them, guys, get to work. Don't wait for the summer to come. Then you start vending players. Start now. Go and make best negotiations, so that by the time we get to the summer, you just trigger. You've made your decision that you want to deal with this. Even the player is prepared. Remember how we failed to sell Harry Maguire to West Ham because he wasn't prepared. Things were happening late. You need to do them early. The negotiations. I'll tell you, I can bet that Arsenal will sign Ivan Toney in the summer. But the talks for Ivan Toney, I had Inter long time ago. They started, I think, even just after his ban, probably. That's when Arsenal started. They are suggesting verbal, talks between the two. They put 50 million. It was rejected. Brentford rejected it. They made it 60. They rejected 70. So they could sign, by the way, they could sign Ivan Toney for about 80, nothing less than 80 million pounds. But Arsenal will sign Ivan Toney. And it will be one of the first deals to be done in the summer because they knew what they wanted and they started working on it early. So United has, and that's why we're overcharged. Those are the mistakes we are making, that we take long to decide what we want. So we go into the market late. Remember that the transfer window is always lean. It's small. So you're panicking, and that is when they overprice you. Because we're in a race against time. You know what it is. If you buy things late, it's like waiting for Christmas to come, and you start buying clothes for your kids. Boss, they will be very expensive. It's like if you want to take a flight and you want to book a flight you want to travel 2 days from now and you book your flight today, it will be expensive. But if you book it months before, it's cheaper. So that's the thing. It applies everywhere in business. When it comes to spending money on things, you do want to do the work early. And that's exactly what John Matta and Matt Hargreaves are doing now. They are trying to do the work early with the guidance and endorsement and the blessing of Omar Berrada and Ineos, whereas they are not yet officially in office, especially Omar Berrada. So it's very important. 75 million for Rashi at the very worst. If these guys are still poor negotiators, take it. For me, even if it was 70, take it. But I know that being PSG, that is the club that wants Rashford, they can give us 90 million. They do have the money and they will give it to us. So there is another interesting story that has come up, and let me just even before I even get into that interesting story, let me just sample the poll that I posted and see how many people so far have commented and what they say. So 80% of you agree with me that we should sell Marcus Rashford for no less than 80 million, because the poll is what is the minimum amount Man United should accept for Rashford. Now I asked, the options are 50 million pounds, 80 million pounds, 100 million pounds, or less than 50 million pounds, or should we keep him? Now it's interesting that 80% of the people are saying 80 million pounds, but the other 20% are saying we keep him. So there are people who feel like we should keep Marcus Rashford. For me, here's the thing, and this is why I think the worst option for United would be to keep Marcus Rashford. Besides him not being so eager, and the attitude can be worked on by that, because he's an academy boy, he's earning good money. With Omar Berrada and new guys to support Eric Ten Hag manage players, they can work on his attitude and maybe he can be motivated to want to play for United again. But for me, the issue is, Marcus Rashford is sort of he's in his prime for a footballer. He's sort of your star player, but he will no longer have the shine. I'm afraid it is highly likely that he will be competing with Rasmus Højlund for the shine and the emerging Alejandro Garnacho, and that will not be good, because we are then going to again have to endure periods of selfishness, because Rashford can be selfish if he has to. He can also be generous, but I feel that for me, with the arrival of Højlund, who has clearly shown that he will be a world beater, you don't want to keep Rashford. It's safe he goes and looks to be the star elsewhere, because with the young kids coming up, it's going to be difficult. Arsenal could be interested in Rashford. How interesting that would be. Because I struggle to recall the last time, if it wasn't Van Persie, you can remind me, the other player United, the other exchange we ever had, was there another, after Van Persie, did we ever make an exchange of players with Arsenal? Man United and Arsenal? I highly doubt that. But there is talks that Arsenal are interested in him. But of course, it is possible that Rashford can be forced to stay in England, even if United wanted to offload him, because maybe for his national team, career, because he knows that when the moment he goes out of England into a lower league, obviously his levels will not match up to these so many young emerging players or young players or players in his age who play perhaps even already better in his position. The Phil Fodens of this world, the Bukayo Sakas of this world. Now there is this Cole Palmer. Palmer. There are so many young players, and if the moment Rashford leaves England, it is going to be difficult for him unless he does Mbappe things. It's going to be difficult for him to keep his place in England because it is known, it's no secret that the biggest and most competitive league in the world is the English Premier League. So if you're Rashford and you're not playing in the English Premier League, you have Foden, Saka, Cole Palmer playing and performing well in top English Premier League clubs. It's very difficult for you to keep your place on the national team. So the dynamics around Rashford are a bit deep, they're a bit broad. Yeah. But if we are to think about what's best for United, it should be for him to go. But of course, like I said, it's a matter of opinions. That's mine. Now, Ineos has started a major cost-cutting exercise at Man United, and I think I gave you this interview before. I saw I keep taking you back to things I've spoken about because most of the things that are coming now in the media, I gave you the intel, so you probably understand why I had to invest in that trip to Old Trafford and Carrington to try and get connections so that I have intel. I told you that the first thing that Ineos wants to do is to cut costs at Manchester United. That's the first thing they want to do. They have been given a limited. When it comes to football, because Ineos are in charge of football operations. Of course, when I say Ineos, I mean Sir Jim and his team. Football operations are governed universally. They are not really, it's not like Ineos will just get money and spend. The money that will run the football has got to be made by the club. The team has got to make the money. The football has got to make money for itself to be able to be put back into the football if it's going to shine. Now, what Ineos has got to do first is to ensure that they minimize all expenses because of these fair play policies. They have got to minimize all expenses on anything not football as much as they can. And of course, there are those necessities they have got to spend on around the football, but they need to minimize them as much as they can so that they can save money to spend on the football. And these include player wages. Following here in Zambia, good evening, sir. Mwila Mutale, good evening to you. How are you doing? Welcome aboard. How is Zambia, Lusaka? I hope everything is nice. Now, here's the thing. So Ineos has got to minimize expenses, and it was reported today. Man United released reports from the last quarter, and we have so far already spent 95.1 million pounds. Now that's an increment from 77.3 million pounds that we had spent in the last time in the same period, the second quarter. So the second quarter expenditure for Man United, second quarter of 2023-2024, that season, is 95.1 million pounds. The second quarter of the last season, we had spent 77.3 million pounds. Now we realize that there is so much money spent. Ineos are saying we have, first of all, and this is one thing that Sir Jim noticed on arrival when he visited Old Trafford the first time with Sir Dave Brailsford. They said we have so many redundant employees. United employs about 1,111 staff. I was there and I saw it myself. The places, because I toured the whole of Old Trafford, and honestly, everywhere you would see 2, 4, 5 extra unnecessary employees. Some old people who cannot even hear what you're asking them. They are opening doors for you. Then someone else comes and picks you. Then someone tells you to go to that door. Imagine you're on a tour. If you get a chance, you go there and you tour Old Trafford. Where is my tour book meanwhile? Here it is. So here's the book you receive as your souvenir, Museum and Stadium Tour Souvenir Guide. So you receive this when you go for that Man United your stadium tour. But imagine I went there first of all at the entrance alone. Which gate is it? At the gate. What gate is that? I think it's the side of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. That's the gate to the tour where the tour starts. Already, just at the entrance, there are about 4 guys, to check you. There are 4 guys standing there as if checking, but there's only one guy checking. Then you enter, make the queue, go to the table, whatever the reception table where they start that you paid proof of payment and stuff. There are about 3 people there, which is okay. I think that's okay. But then there is one guy standing on the side telling you, go there, go this, follow these steps, and then you go. Then there is some guy opening the door. Then there is someone standing there just again to point to you. So whereas they try to make it so easy for you, I think they overdo it, because a job that can be done by one person or 2 people at the very most, they have about 6 extra people doing the same thing. Some young and very old people. So you find others just standing there just to point you to go to that door, stand there and wait there. As you stand there, then there is someone, 3, 4 people there doing nothing. They're just conversing with each other. They're all almost telling you the same thing. So there is a lot of redundance, and these are all employees dressed in Man United, so you can imagine. And whereas it's okay to employ people, and I've never, because I think the biggest problem in the world, I think, is unemployment. That's one of the biggest problems in the world. That's the reality. But whereas you want to employ people for a need, there should be a need for you to employ people. So United has one too many employees that they need to be cut. Now all the money that they save, and they have not put a specific amount that they want to save, but they want to trim as much as they can. Then all the money they save add to contributing directly to the football. Buy more facilities, buy a new treadmill, because Cristiano Ronaldo told us that the treadmills at Carrington are the same old treadmills they had back then before he left. So buy another treadmill, or bring new technology, because even the technology is not embraced properly at Man United, and yet football today is highly technological. So that's what Sir Jim wants to do. So they are going to cut employees by about 25%. That's about a quarter. That's a lot. 20 to 25%. That's a lot. So from 1,000, imagine from 1,111 or thereabout to just over 700, because teams like Liverpool, and of course these are smaller clubs like United, than United, they don't have a 75,000 seater, for example. They're not big entities like United, but they have 700 employees. Arsenal has 700. Now Arsenal is a very small, negligible club, but they have 700 employees. But you can still manage with a few, and that's how Sir Jim Ratcliffe. That's the marginal gains. This could be a small change in terms of trimming the numbers, but it would have a good small impact on the performance of the team. Now they make another change in the structure, seems to be small, but it will make another impact on the team. Make another change in terms of recruitment and which players they recruit. Small change, but adds an impact. Add them together, and you have a 30% improvement on the football. Marginal gains. That's the strategy of Ineos, and they are down to business already. Edward Musumba, we may want to sell Rashford, but Manchester United should have a better signing in sight. Looking in the market, I'm not seeing a better player. Don't tell him work on his ego. Give me a better player. I think there are lots of better players. Garnacho is a better player flying from the left where he plays, because honestly for me the other reason why I don't enjoy Rashford is because he blocks Garnacho. Between Rashford and Garnacho, I think Garnacho is a better player than Marcus Rashford for Man United. More important, proved it in the last game. He proves it whenever he gets the ball. His runs always put defenses under pressure. But Garnacho's best position is flying from the left. The reason he's played on the right, and imagine he still plays good there, but the reason he's played there is to accommodate Rashford on the left. So for me, Rashford is blocking a good emerging young player who is better than him and more hungry. So Instead of keeping him there, let him go and find someone to play on the right wing. So the problem is not the left wing, because Rashford is a one position pony. He's only, and that's why he wants to play. You see, when he's played as a false nine, he's as useless as the word. When he's played on the right, he doesn't want to play there. He only wants to play on the left. But Garnacho, even when Garnacho drifts just in moments during a game and he drifts to the left, you see that he makes better impact there than Rashford does for the entire 90 minutes playing there. So Edward Musumba, for me, I think there is a lot of reasons for us to look to see why Rashford has got to leave. He's blocking Garnacho to excel best in his position. Yeah. Imagine if Sir Jim Ratcliffe accepts or to bring back Mason Greenwood. Where will Rashford play? Because that would mean Garnacho is going to go on the left, Greenwood goes on the right, Hoyland up top. Rashford cannot play through the middle. He won't be a number 10. Where will he play? And he can't sit on the bench. So you think about it and you're thinking the best option for him is to go somewhere he's going to be the star. If Rashford went to PSG, he would be the star of the team all day, all night. Because Mbappe is not there, he will certainly be the star player there. And trust you me, with that French league, he will just take it for dinner. Have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner properly. So for me, that's what needs to be done. Asimwe Isaac Rashford. Rashford, interesting. So that's for me what I did. So I was still talking about the cost cutting that Ineos is doing, and I think it's a good thing. They have hired a private firm. It's called Interpath. It's a corporate restructuring firm called Interpath Advisory, and it's going to take on the work, and they will start immediately with immediate effects already. They will take on the work of cutting costs without. So some tough decisions are going to be made, and people are going to be sacked. Rashford has outlived his start at Man United. I feel like he has gotten entitlement at the club because he's an academic graduate and an English player, optional on the market. Options on the market are many. He's just so lazy. Not my words. This is Musumba. This is for you, Edward Musumba. Asimwe Isaac put it right there for you. For me, everything around Rush, but also even for the player himself, you can clearly see that he's not motivated. He's not hungry to play for the club. He's no longer. His body language, the way he relates with the fans. You see, when you lose it with the fans and they don't relate with you, it's done. It's done. You can't lose it with the fans. Not at Man United. Because Man United, like Sir Jim said, it's a club that belongs to the fans. Him and the Glazers are just likely to be the ones making the money from the fans' ownership. But this is a club for the fans. If you lose it with them and they can't communicate with you, they don't vibe with you, it's done. So Rashford is done. And whatever we say here, I can guarantee he will leave in the summer. Unless we fail to get someone who gives, of course, it's difficult for him to be sold to Saudi Arabia, because then he might not accept to go there. He may not, because has a long contract and stuff. He might not accept to go there. But if PSG comes, gives us good money, these teams, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, name them. Of course, he can't play in Real Madrid. I'm just saying. But and even Premier League clubs, other Premier League clubs who want him. I think he just destroyed it for himself. And you see, he could have had room for improvement, but his attitude alone has killed it completely for him. Completely. So for me, I have no kind words for Rashford. I think all I can say is let's get the best deal for him, because it's our closest chance to making good money. And if you don't sell now, you don't cling on to players hoping against hope. Players who clearly show you they don't want to play anymore. You've got to make the decision at once. This is exactly what Sir Alex Ferguson would do. It's exactly what he would do. And I know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is consulting from Sir Alex Ferguson, is taking notes, because they don't meet just for vibes. I'm sure they talk about these things, and he tries to give him opinions about how they should handle situations, especially with certain players. And Rashford should be top of the list. He should be top of the list without a shadow of a doubt. So Very important. Now, there's also an interesting story that I've seen that, of course, Todibo's price, because we know that Todibo is one of the centre backs United is looking at, him and, of course, Jared Branthwaite. And apparently, Todibo is, the asking price for Todibo is about 47 to 51 million pounds, which I think for me, if that's the asking price, we can negotiate again. And I told you yesterday, for me, I think we can get Todibo for no more than 40 million pounds, which I think would be the case. And if you look at the different options we have, he could be the cheapest, yet for me, I think is the best option. So for me, I don't think it is too much money, really. 40 million, if you can get him as a centre back, he's 24, tried and tested. I think it would be good money for him. So there is a there is that, and of course the options for United, Brentford. I told you of Bremer, who I don't think for me I will even go and dwell on him, and Todibo, and of course Antonio Silva of Benfica. So I'm just reading somewhere here, and guys are trying to debate about them, but I think I gave you my 2 cents on those. John Mata is trending. Of course, I just told you that after meeting chiefs of FC Barcelona, he's set to meet him, and Mata Groups are set to meet Real Madrid chiefs, most probably over uh, players, and of course the likely ones uh, could be uh, Mason Greenwood, or it could even be Amad Diallo. It could be any other player, but it seems Ineos have chosen to first stick with John Mata a bit, or probably the Glazers have a say in this, because remember, the Glazers are not completely out of the football operations. I see John Mata is becoming a conversation. I remember at some point we were taking him for dinner and supper every day here for his poor negotiation and how they ran the club down. But it seems he's beginning to feel important lately. I think with the more we delay to confirm Omar Berada and Dan Ashworth, he's beginning to prove himself that he can probably be important. He seems to also be a good character for some people. Asim Isaac, we also have to admit that the English media has done so much to give players importance. Last season, he was our main man, and he felt like he is so important for the club. No player is bigger than the organization. And you can't blame him, exactly. For me, I think Marcus Rashford is a problem we created for ourselves. Of course, the English media will always do the stuff they do. When it comes to their English players, they will praise them and give them MBEs that seem to be artificial and all. But I think for me, Marcus Rashford, the mistake we made was giving him that new contract prematurely. There was no justification for Marcus Rashford, even if he scored the 30 goals he scored. There was no justification whatsoever for Marcus Rashford to be given that contract extension that goes up to 2028 and give him the wages he's earning. There was no logical explanation. You think about it, and you can talk about the goals, the 30 goals and 17 in the Premier League. Talk about everything, and you're thinking, no, this was a job, a PR job that went right, but went sour for the player. You see, sometimes they say you cannot skip the process. I felt they skipped the process badly. They skipped the process hugely to just offer that boy that kind of contract they gave him just because he scored the funny goals he scored last season. And I don't want to disrespect his goals because they felt important at the time. But if you see beyond, if you are long sighted, you see long term, you would tell that these goals were poor man's, grind. It was a poor man's grind. They were never goals you looked at and felt, okay, this is now a player who is going to give us. You see the way Hoyland has scored fewer goals, but if if we woke up and gave Hoyland double his contract already, I don't think any of us would complain. Hoyland is currently earning £85,000 per week. If he were English, already they would be talking about increasing his wages. Look at Kobe Mainu. Look at Kobe Mainu. Let me use an example. And you see, you mentioned something, Isaac. English players have got that problem, and I hope it doesn't affect Kobe Mainu, because the media and the way the system protects and hypes them is dangerous for the players. If Marcus Rashford were not an English player, he wouldn't be getting the contract he got and he wouldn't be having the issues he's facing now. Because he's fighting himself. The battles he's fighting are because of the money. That's why he'll come out in the press and talk about his cars and how he walked from one corner of his country of Salford, whatever, to Manchester, and there is only one bus, and then what? Then no one cares about those stories. But it's that contract. Now with Kobe Mino, they're doing the same thing, and I have nothing against it. But I'm saying if Kobe Mino wasn't English, I think he would still be on the £20,000. Look at Garnacho. How many games has Garnacho played? How much impact has Garnacho made for how long? Compare him to Kobe. But already Kobe is having talks to tie him down to a new contract, earning £60,000 per week. Remember, they had already doubled him from £10,000 to 20,000. Now they're already discussing to they're already discussing extending his step, making it longer, and giving him £60,000. But Garnacho is still earning £30,000. Is it 20? Actually, Garnacho is earning £20,000. Can you imagine? It's Amad Diallo who is earning 30,000 or 28,000 thereabout. But you can imagine with all the work, you can't tell me. And whereas we know that Kobe is an important player, I don't I don't want to undermine him, and I'm not saying I'm against him earning the money he's earning. But if Garnacho is still earning, he's still earning, he's earning. Let me just get you the figures. Garnacho is still earning less than £30,000 per week because he's not British. Per week. So that's a problem. And you see, these English guys think it's a good thing, but it's actually damaging their own players. It's damaging their own players. By the speaking of Kobe, I've just seen reports that they are contemplating to promote him to the under 21s for the first time. So probably they don't want to rush him into the senior team, which would be a good thing, I think. I think the excitement has come down a bit. I think we're all excited about him, but he's beginning to look human. Before he was inhuman, he was something else. And you wouldn't blame them for being excited. I saw Ian Wright saying he has got to start at the Euros. He has got to be there. But yeah, I still think he can. I still think he can, but I also wouldn't mind if they don't rush him. I think you see, you have to go through the process. Don't skip the process. It always will come back biting. Do not skip the, and even for you guys watching the United Hotspot, even for you, never accept to skip the process. Be patient. Do not skip the process. Don't rush because you're excited. You've got a good moment and you're thinking, now I've done it. I want to be at the top. No, don't you skip the process. You will always pay back. It won't last. And you will see, oh, I missed this. And then you will be humbled and go back to square one. Don't skip the process. These English guys make their players skip the process. I saw Tim Sherwood doing an interview with Palmer, this Chelsea wonder boy, and you don't, you're a former coach of a Tottenham Hotspurs, really seen as a legend at Spurs, and you're interviewing a is it 20 or what 21 that Palmer, and you're telling him you think he's extremely good and he has no quality around him. He needs good players around him. How do you expect that boy to deal with that? But you're a coach. This was Tim Sherwood in an interview, I think, with whatever he works for, either Sky or BT Sport or whatever. And he's asking Cole Palmer, these pitch side interviews, those flash interviews they do after games. He's asking the boy, he's telling the boy how he's so good and the players around him are bad. It was so awkward. You saw that the boy was unsettled. He didn't know how to respond to it. He was cornered. See how this British media makes players make mistakes. Now, if that boy does not have the right, proper people around him, he will be full of himself. He won't listen. He will not play football again. He will be killed before set off. He will be damaged before setting off. He's not Palmer, whatever, what's his name? I think Cole Palmer. He's not a Kobe Maino. He's good, he's gifted, he's talented, but he's not special. You see, me, I came here in a rare way. I praised Kobe Maino. I've never been here praising Alejandro Garnacho, who is, I think, clearly very talented. But I've never praised him the way I praised Kobe. But it's because Kobe Maino is special. You can see it, that he's as special as Lionel Messi was at a young age. It's just a difference in style. But the things they were doing at their age were hitherto unseen for anyone at their age. Same with Jude Bellingham. You would see that these are special. The last special footballers I think I've seen personally are Messi, Jude Bellingham, and Kobe Maino. Those are players who at 18 can be praised. You come and brag about them and praise them the way you want because you know what they have is a special gift. But you go out, your team showed, and you're praising Cole Palmer. He won't play football. You wait. He will not achieve. So those are issues with English guys. I like what you said, Asimu Isaac. I think you're right on the money. The English media has spoiled so many players, and they have ended up, making them make the wrong decisions, sign the wrong deals, and inadvertently they affect them in the short term. And before you know it, they are gone. That's why you see the development of Phil Foden is proper, because Phil Foden was humble. You would see that he had potential and great talent, but he was so humble. He refused to go out on loan. He refused to be sold. Pep Guardiola assured him your time will come, and you can see that this boy is only getting better by the day, that he's ripe. He's arguably one of, if not the best player in the Premier League now. He's ripe. He has gone through the process. He did not skip the process. He was not hyped. The hype will kill you. And even when the hype comes, the media is hyping him. You need to have a manager who is going to help tame you. That's why people will tell you, even David Beckham did not play to his full potential. David Beckham was a better footballer than what he achieved. He had the potential to be the greatest English footballer to ever step on a pitch. Beckham should be spoken about as one of in everyone's team, the way everyone will mention Thierry Henry or Paul Scholes in their best team ever Premier League team. Everyone should be mentioning David Beckham. But because of the hype and the failure to be managed, that's why he played well and he performed, and he cannot sit back and look back and say he had a bad career, but he did not live to even 80% of his full potential. Never did. Why? Because of the media hype in England. And I see them trying to put it on Kobe. I love the fact that now Kobe is beginning to look normal. It's a facade. He's not normal. He's not normal. It's a facade. He's not normal. But I like it because it takes away the attention, because this English media can destroy. Ariaka Ronald, the problem is not Marcus Rashford, it's Ten Hag. He can't manage relationship with players. The best coach will be our own Carrick. Well, I love the last line for Carrick all the way. I also love the fact that you agree that Eric Ten Hag has got poor man management, but at least now he has got people to support him with managing players. I think he has got support, but I still, for me, think whereas Rashford not being the problem, even if we brought back Sir Alex Ferguson, I think Rashford should leave. For as long as Højlund is there and Garnacho is there, Rashford should leave. Yeah, that's what I think. For as long as Højlund is there, because we want to see Garnacho playing in his best position off the left. But for as long as Rashford is not there, rather, for as long as Rashford is there, it will never happen. We will not see Garnacho playing on the left. That's why we need him. That's why he causes his best damage. Coming off the left, cutting in, inverted. That's clear, and we've seen it. We've seen him do that, and it's clear. Even Eric Ten Hag knows it, but he has got to work on up the summer. Now, Rasmus Højlund was seen today reporting to training, but we did not see images of him training. But he was at Carrington today. I wanted to share that image of him driving his Range Rover, his black Range Rover, arriving at Carrington. But yeah, Højlund is back. I think it's highly likely he will be in the squad for the Liverpool game. Probably not start, but he will be in the squad. So we are looking ahead to the Liverpool game, and I've seen reports trying to unmask. You remember sometime when I posted the funny Okay, let me not rate myself funny, but a few people found it funny. A video talking about how I felt. You see, just after Cat Williams revealed that they exposed Hollywood, and at that time it coincided with the emergence or the advent of Kobe Mainu, and I was saying that Kobe Mainu is exposing people in the Premier League the way Cat Williams was exposing people in Hollywood, how the dirty work that goes on around Hollywood. Now, Manchester United players, and this is what I'm ending with, Manchester United players seem to suggest that the signing of Mason Mount was not for footballing reasons. There is a theory flying around, and he said that certain United players don't think Mason Mount signing. You see, these players know a lot. That's why the contracts they sign, they can't talk. They take the oath not to talk for as long as they're active, but they know a lot. Now, apparently, and you know United staff leaks, so apparently, Man United is a mystery around the signing of Mason Mount, and we've always asked ourselves, guys. I tell you, time will always vindicate. Time, guys. If someone confuses you, if anything bothers you, just give it time. It's a matter of time. I think the one thing I pray for every day, the grace for God to give me the grace to be patient, because time, if you can be patient, everything can be well with you. Now, the mystery of Mason Mount's 60 million pounds Man United move. Teammate claims his switch was not for footballing reasons, with midfielder reportedly sensitive about his Chelsea departure after 18 years at the club. After 18 years at the club. Hmm? Do you want to go into this theory, conspiracy theory of sorts? Because you have been asking, why was Mason Mount signed in a rush the way Eric Ten Hag did? Big bread, wherever the bread is, and butter, wherever the bread and the butter are, there is always a story around it. There is always cockroaches. Yeah? You know what I mean? Where the bread and butter are, there will always be cockroaches, roaming and hovering around. They will always be there. So the bread and butter in film is in Hollywood, and Cat Williams exposed the cockroaches in Hollywood. Now in football, the bread and butter globally is in the Premier League. Trust me, there must be cockroaches around the Premier League, and we are beginning to see them. So Mason Mount's move to Manchester United hasn't gone to plan for either party so far, and according to a report, the deal was not for football reasons. Mount swapped Chelsea for United in a £60 million transfer last summer after the two parties failed to reach an agreement to extend his stay during protracted talks. The England international was highly sought after, with Arsenal and Liverpool among the suitors, before he opted to join United on a 5-year, £250,000 a week contract with the option of another year. We are talking about a player who had 1 year left on his contract. The 25-year-old was Eric Ten Hag's first signing of last summer, but has played a bit-part role after several injury setbacks have restricted him to just 12 appearances in all competitions, his last coming against Luton in November before he was injured in training. And according to the Manchester United Evening News, the current teammate has caused doubt on the move behind the move. We journalists say there's what we call news behind the news. They report that a source close to one of the United players claims that the deal was not for football reasons. Now, question would be, what reasons were they? Can I go on? Can I go on with this conspiracy theory? To me, I think Rashford is satisfied with the awards and Sir title he achieved. Not Sir, it's an MBE, boss. He can't be a Sir. Who can knight that one? The Muhindo, so Namte is saying it's an MBE that he got. So it's sort of an honor, but it's not a Sir yet. But yeah, those are the things. And this was the work of his PR team, how they had him giving needy kids food. I was at Carrington and Old Trafford. This guy drives like the way he runs is the way he drives. He doesn't stop to even wave at kids of 3 years. And you know the funny thing is somehow kids who support United love Marcus Rashford. He must be one of their biggest idols. I don't know why. Kids of today, you know the things that they like, the tattoos and what. But you cannot even that car with RIO. Is it Rayo? That's the number plate. I don't know what car it is. I'm not so good with cars. My son is better cars than me, by the way. He's only 7. But the boy knows every car that passes on the road, and I wonder where he gets this stuff from. These kids of today. But anyway, the guy just drives, and you clearly see he doesn't care about people. He had a good game against Tottenham. I think he was one of our best players. If I recall, he was the man of the match. My memory is not letting me down, but he was one of the best players when we played Tottenham. I was at Carrington for that game, rather at Old Trafford for that game. After the game, I go behind the Stratford end, and kids, it's cold. The winter, this super cold winter, parents are lifting kids up on their shoulders to try. And Marcus Rashford, he could not even look at them to wave. That boy marched from the Stratford end to his car, to the car parking, without even just waving. Some of his colleagues, even those who did not stop to sign autographs for the so many supporters, were waving, looking there and smiling. They showed that they were communicating with the players, with the supporters. Rashford was acting in the most annoying, disgusting way I've seen a player, act. You can see that he does not relate with the fans. Even when he scores goals, you don't feel it. You see when Hoyland scores a goal, when Garnacho scores a goal, there is an unsound communication between you, the fan, at your seat, on your TV, and him. Or if you're in the stand, there is that unsound communication. You both feel the butterflies in the stomach, and you feel that you're with him in this. For Rashford, it's all not. It's artificial. It's like he's not an academy boy. You see Scott McTominay scores a goal and you feel it. Rashford, I don't feel him, guys. Nothing, no hate, no nothing. I just don't. There is something. Even that MBE for me, I don't think he's really genuinely. He's that person who cares about kids, and maybe he does. Not that he's a bad person who won't care, but it's not. It was a work of his PR team. Mohindo Sosi Pat, Rush shouldn't be out unless we get his perfect replacement. If all we don't want to face what we experienced when they let out Cristiano Ronaldo. CR7. Interesting submission there. So I was still reading for you guys. I was still telling you about this conspiracy theory surrounding Mason Mount signing Man United. Upon moving north, so I stopped where they report that a source close to one of the United players claims that the deal was not for football reasons. Should I continue? Upon moving north, Mount admitted that it's never easy leaving the club where you grew up after the boyhood Portsmouth fan came through the ranks at Chelsea from the age of 6 and spending 18 years in total there. And the men elaborate on this further by stating that United staff said Mount was sensitive about his Chelsea exit, noting that he hasn't done any media outside of the club's official channels since joining the Red Devils. United's number 7 missed their 2-1 win over his former club in December at Old Trafford due to injury, with a section of the travelling Blues supporters referring to him as a and a money-grabbing among their chants. Chelsea legend John Terry has gone on record urging fans to be more sympathetic to Mount's move, stating last September, "There is another side to the story. Let's not be too harsh on him when he comes back." Mount returned to training on Tuesday after 4 months. So, guys, the theories are flying. Why did we spend 60 million on Mount? Where is he going to play? He's back, and he will be back after the international break. Where will he play? So we spent 60 million pounds on him to be on the bench. To play where? Let's see what Eric Ten Hag will do. Thank you. That was it from me today. Shadrack Mambo, Rashford must go. We bring Mbappe. Hey! Shadrack Mambo is so ambitious. This one just seals it. I think I can add nothing to that. Let me just eat my banana and go retire. Because Shadrack Mambo started so well, but the way he ended it was so audacious. I love this. These are the people I want. This is a true Man United supporter. Man United should not be afraid to go into bidding wars with teams like Real Madrid who are at our level, for players like Kylian Mbappe. We should not be afraid to go into such bidding wars. These are the bidding wars United should be made for. Shadrick Mambo. Interesting. I would like to differ from the conspiracy. How I wish I could type more. Maybe I should start a live call-in show one of these days. And if you have so much to say, you call in instead. I think I should start a live call-in show. What do you think? So the conspiracy is there. And yeah, it's a conspiracy. You can, yeah, I would want to hear your opinions. Maybe we should have a live call-in show about it one of these days. You can let me know what you think in the comment section. Some players need to be rested like Fernandes, but Eric Ten Hag won't rest Bruno Fernandes. We know Eric Ten Hag. I also think that the problem with Mount is he's not a bad player, but we brought him without a plan. We brought him without a plan. And Eric Ten Hag knows that he's not going to rest his captain, Bruno Fernandes. So he will block. Fernandes is blocking Mount. Bruno Fernandes is Mount's biggest problem. Bruno is Mason's biggest mountain. Mount Bruno. Shadrick Mambo, I love your audacity, man. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk more about this Kylian Mbappe interest. I love that. I love United should go into this bidding war. Surge him, show power. The way we went and poached Omar Berada from Man City. Let's just stand in front of Real Madrid. And I have a video about this, by the way. Let me end it by sharing that video. You might think I'm just jumping onto this man's wagon, but let me share a video where I told you I think United can go into this bidding war. These are the bidding wars United should be going in, not bidding wars for nobodies, for these funny little players. Hmm? Let me see if I can trace that video. Here it is. Let me share this video. It was a couple of months ago. My show is always at the top of the hour, 1 hour ago. So I don't know which country you're in. Where I am, it's at 10. It's always at 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. So for some of you, might be an hour ahead, a hour ahead. So that would be late. But it's whatever time it is, it's coming to the top of the hour. It's exactly 11 p.m. where I am. So the 1 hour ago, that's 10 p.m. So I don't know. 10 p.m. is 22 hours. So it's always at 22 hours. But that is the story. You can watch that video where I was saying United should go and try and bid for Kylian Mbappe. We go into those bidding wars. We need to have a call in for sure, because Messi anyways needs to compete. Only has been hampered by injury, but we both know what he can do. But where? We know what he can do, but where? Who is going to be sacrificed for him? That's the question. So Ariaka Ronald, the time is 10 p.m., 22 hours. 1 hour ago, exactly 1 hour from now, 1 hour earlier. So whatever time it is, I don't know where you are. Ariaka Ronald, I don't know which country you're in, but 1 hour ago is the time. Enjoy that video about me trying to tell you that Man United should go and bid for Kylian Mbappe. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome 1 hour. Catch you again tomorrow. We'll talk United more. And of course, we will be building up to the new one, the big one coming. Man United taking on Liverpool.